He also quickly showed his identity as a superhuman. Just as he was about to shake hands with Juyu, I have 10,000 disagreements. I could tell what this guy was thinking at a glance. Just by looking at him, I knew it. The handsome guy came to invite Juyu to team up with him. Juyu just smiled slightly and looked at me. I already have a teammate. I also quickly came to Juyu's front to show my existence. The handsome guy left with embarrassment. I still hope Juyu will consider it before leaving. He felt very upset when he got home. A genius over 95% rejected him today. The old man wanted to get the handsome guy and Juyu together. He came up with a dirty trick. He removed the obstacle. In the previous life, I was a monster and a devil. But this time, I have controlled my monster genes, controlled in my left hand. This is my favorite healing. Today is the time when his superpowers are out of control. Last time, his ability went out of control and killed many people. So it left an indelible scar on him. I also came to save him at the first time. After being tested by the Genetic Research Institute, his healing superhuman gene exceeded 95% of superhumans. And I was also tested to have extraordinary genes. So we came to the Gene Research Institute. A man suddenly wanted to team up with Juyu. Of course, I was 1,000 unwilling, because this man didn't look like a good guy. I also politely refused. This old man actually came up with a dirty trick to get rid of me. They were going to let us enter the Supernatural Academy, but I need to take an entrance exam, which is the final test. The beautiful nurse came to inform me. She said that although I have 1% of superhuman genes, but I was no different from ordinary people, I can't participate. The entrance examination of the Supernatural Academy. I was also puzzled. Didn't they say before I could enter the school with a superhuman gene? The nurse was very angry. As a handsome guy with 8-pack abs, how could he not be angry? Of course, he was also ready to help me apply. Just then, he suddenly received a call. The people from the Genetic Academy were going to give me a chance to enroll. Of course, I also wanted to be with Juyu. I chose to seize this opportunity. This very popular man is also was preparing to eliminate me in the final trial. The scene shifted to the genetic testing field. The man's phone suddenly fell to the ground. When he saw the content on his phone, he was so excited. He was bribed. They are preparing for the final trial plan. They looked at my report. It's a pity. This guy made the Fan family unhappy. The other side offered 20 million to fail the test. He looked at the skinny me in the picture, saying it was caused by malnutrition. How could he participate in the trial like this? How many days haven't you eaten? Facing monsters like this, there's only a dead end. At this moment, I also felt unprecedented hunger. I have exhausted all the energy I have accumulated. My chest is touching my back. I now have only one thought. I want to eat all the people participating in the trial. Suddenly, someone announced that the trial was about to start. I was also added to the trial at the last minute. Everyone looked at my malnourished appearance. They felt like I was just getting in through the back door. And I looked at their expressions. Isn't this fucking being targeted? At this moment, looking at them, my saliva was flowing all over the floor. But I can't just eat people casually. He showed a weird smile behind my back. He said this cage was specially designed for me. He warned me that monsters, 5 times stronger than humans, and I would only be torn to pieces by the monster. He also carefully pointed out a way out for me, which is the abandoned gate. As long as you go out from there, you'll be safe. I just smiled slightly. The current trial hasn't started yet. What if you get torn to pieces? Do you know what it's like for a person with monster genes? Participates in the trial of the 超凡者. What kind of experience it is. A man wanted to team up with my favorite. After being ruthlessly rejected, he was going to arrange an entrance trial for me. He planned to eliminate me in the trial. When I was arranged to participate, I just smiled slightly. It seems that this breakup has a full sense of color and flavor. 2 people who were bribed looked at me and even bet on when I would give up. The trial officially began. The door above the monster's cage slowly opened. A group of monsters rushed in impatiently. A renewal certificate of the Supernatural Academy was also inside. The 2 people watching me started counting down. I just put my hands in my pockets and walked out slowly. First, I smiled at the camera, and the monsters also roared in front of me. The next second, the monsters directly ignored my existence. Because I am also half a monster, they regarded me as their compatriot. I looked at the monster, and my saliva was flowing out. They looked at me in the picture. This certificate is in my pocket. The dean smiled wickedly. This poison certificate is not so easy to get. The trial is not only for monsters. There are also various extraordinary people with superpowers. No surprise. Someone really came to grab this certificate. He used mental shock to scare me. I just turned to look at him. An unprecedented picture made him wet his pants. This scared the guy a lot. He quickly backed away. He felt something was wrong with me. Compared to humans, he looked more like a monster, which was terrifying. Meanwhile, the monster also turned to look at me and pounced towards me directly. Seeing the monster coming, I felt relieved. I don't have to pretend. I'm really hungry now. I have to trouble you to fill my stomach first. Facing the monitor, I dare not make big moves. So I can only be careful. I still have to take out the beast I evolved before. To empty the bodies of these monsters. I've been hungry for several days. Finally, I received a gift from the monster. Thank you, my monster compatriots. I will thank you well. The sudden attack made me a little overwhelmed. I just ate you. Don't you consider me as your fellow? The idiot next to me was enjoying it. My actions surprised him. I kept moving among the monsters, and he regarded me as a monster. My movements seemed like instinct to him. Experienced. I have turned killing monsters into an instinct. Next, I directly cut a monster in half. He was amazed. I just like to see this kind of unworldly look. After I killed all the monsters, a group of people surrounded me. The purpose is simple. Just for the certificate of martyrdom. This man asked me to hand over the certificate. Suddenly, a monster appeared, which broke everything. The bald man looked down on the monster. He also wanted to kill the monster with his bare hands. If nothing unexpected happens, the bald man was slapped. The bald man was directly knocked away by this blow. Let me hand it over. The person reading the certificate hadn't reacted yet. I had already reached him, ready to punch him. Suddenly I realized I used the wrong hand. I should use my right hand to hit him. My left hand might send him to the other world. As a demon, I was a very powerful existence in my last life. But this time, my monster genes are condensed in my left hand. But today I met someone who wasn't afraid of death. I went straight up to punch him. Suddenly, I thought of my left hand. Hitting him might send him straight to the other world. Because my left hand has completely mutated. Because I devoured a second-level monster last time, my left hand has broken through to the second level. Now, the power of my fist is at least 10 times that of a normal person. If I really punch him with this punch, his brain might even pop out. I had to stop and stop. I thought it was enough. I just gave him a simple punch. The force of this punch is already very small. I was suddenly terrified. Could something happen? I could only pray that nothing would happen to him. He can't die like this. Luckily, I felt his breathing. I was relieved. Just then, a companion came over with the bald man. The beaten man was also panicked, begging me to save his companion, and he was willing to pay. Who could resist the temptation of money? I could only reluctantly agree. 2 people who wanted to eliminate me were watching me in the control room. He had no choice, so he could only release more monsters. I simply punched to save Xiaosheng's companion. He looked at my unbeatable operation. Awesome. But I don't have enough money. But I keep my word. If it's not enough, I'll ask my sister to work with me to pay you back. Don't worry. His sister punched me. How could you involve me? The girl quickly apologized to me. I didn't think it mattered. Zhao Shen even invited me to have late-night snacks before leaving. I was also speechless. It was the first time I met such a person. I had to reply. I just had dinner. Suddenly, I was scared. Jumped down. A monster jumped down from directly above their heads. Xiao Sheng saw the monster and said, he pushed his sister and companion away directly. As a result, he was directly stepped on by the monster. His sister was instantly dumbfounded. Suddenly, I heard someone say, the drop rules. But it was too late now. The monster has already arrived in front of us, and these monsters are close to the second level. There must be something fishy. In order to prevent me from passing the trial, it seems that you have gone to great lengths. Why do I feel they are so desperate? Is there another secret? In the monster trial ground, a monster fell from the sky. Xiao Sheng and 2 others. They didn't know what happened. The next second, Zhao Sheng was stepped on by the monster. If nothing unexpected happens, this monster would eat Xiao Sheng. I also felt strange when I saw this. Why did so many monsters suddenly appear? The little sister saw her brother was about to be eaten. and she didn't care about herself and was ready to find the monster. I'm confused. He even tried to run over the monster with his small body, but was surrounded by a group of monsters. As a monster with monster genes, I couldn't stand it. I pulled him out. I also reminded her, even if you die, you should die with a handsome guy. Look at your brother. He looks like a pig. He was so sad. He was his brother after all. I threw him away and was ready to help him. I came to the monster. If the monster really eats Xiaoxi, it would be troublesome if it evolved.